Hi guys, welcome back to Reddit Reader's Digest. It's gonna
What's
be a
up,
fun
everybody?
episode today, guys. Today we have some interesting stories. What's our theme, Isaac?
Today, our theme is sisters, and specifically sisters fighting, which is something that us as two uh, guys will have a lot to say about.
Mm-hmm. So, let's just get straight into it with our first story of the day. So,
It's good.
am I the asshole because my sister is refusing to eat? I am a 20 female living with my parents and 25 female and 14 female sisters. Growing up, we've always been a closely tied family, eating out together. Everyone's been together, eating, talking, and enjoying ourselves. My 14 female sister liked to cook a lot. In her early teens, 11 to 13 years old, she got very interested in cooking. She would cook for us both desserts and proper meals. Her cooking was always been good, however, she put on some weight. She got a little
Um,
chubby, but I do not think that she was overweight. My family and I noticed this because me and my 25 female sister have always been slim. I was worried that my 14 female sister was on her path to an unhealthy lifestyle. My
okay.
family and I noticed this because me and my 25 female sister have always wait. My parents started encouraging her to start doing sports. My dad mentioned that she might want to lose a few kilos and that he would pay for a gym membership. Parentheses, obviously because he wanted her to be healthy. But she refused and would only play her guitar at home instead.
Mm,
So she wouldn't do much activities except for PE at school, which would be 2 lessons, 120 minutes per week. My family contacted the school nurse and asked her about my sister's weight. The nurse responded saying that our 14th female sister had a healthy BMI count. After that, my parents let that situation be, and we went years without talking about her weight. But whenever we were fighting, our family would call our 14th female sister rude things, cow, bull, whale, but it was just a family thing.
what the hell?
Yes,
That's actually crazy.
yes, I agree that it was rude, but she would mock us too, and we would only say those things when we were obviously mad at each other, so that no one would take any offense. Before it all went downhill, I suggested for my sister to fast because she needed it. She started crying, and my mom told me to apologize, so I did. Since January, my 14 female sister started becoming extremely active, walking to school and back 40 minutes each. And she would be out all day so that we couldn't eat together. So our family would eat without her. No matter how much we encouraged her, she wouldn't eat. And my family noticed a weight loss that was applauded, but because she was looking much slimmer and healthier. But it got worse. She started refusing to eat anything at all, even her favorite foods. Nothing would ever get to her, and she would be outside all day, so we barely saw her. 8 months went, and she looked skeletal. My parents keep telling her that she looks like a skeleton, an old woman, and that she needs to put on some weight. She is denying her weight loss, and we cannot do anything about it. We contacted the school nurse once again, and 14th female sister refused to be weighted. We are extremely worried about her, and I'm scared that my words affected her. I might be the asshole because my little sister has stopped eating, and I'm worried that me previously mocking her might have affected her negatively.
Hmm, could
What the
be.
fuck? What the fuck, Isaac? What the fuck? Jesus Christ. First they're like, you're a cow, you're so fucking big, and now you're too skinny. This family sounds monstrous. They're monsters.
Yeah, that's terrible. It's like comically evil family. I don't and also to put on like, first of all, you should never shame your family for something like that. That's something that's between your child and the doctor, right?
Yeah, Jesus
But the fact that
Christ.
she wasn't even like they called the nurse and she wasn't even overweight and they're saying all this stuff about her, it's terrible. I mean, they shouldn't say about it or no matter what, but
It's like What were you guys expecting? You basically installed an eating disorder within her, you know? She's like refusing to why she wouldn't
Devastating.
eat. Why? Well, I wonder why she wouldn't eat, Isaac. Because you guys told her she was a cow, a bull. And, oh, yeah, it's just
Mhm.
a family thing, Isaac. Don't worry, it's a family thing, obviously.
Actually crazy. It's okay because they're angry when they say it.
Yeah, Jesus
And then they it's terrible.
Christ. And like,
Also,
yeah,
well, even when she loses weight, like, unhealthy amount of weight, they still criticize her body. They call her, like, skeleton and, like, old lady and stuff. So it's like a pattern that never ends. It's just a terrible like,
I, like, and also, this woman sounds so fucking tone deaf. I'm worried that I might have caused her to act negatively. I wonder why. I wonder. It's like, do you not realize what you and your family have been doing? It's like,
yeah, ridiculous.
what do you think the comments say?
Just like, "You're terrible." Like, you're being it's like, "Is your head stuck in a hole in the ground?" Like,
Yeah,
you know
the consensus is you're the asshole pretty much across the board. You're the asshole and your family are too. You bullied a child for being chubby and now you bully her for being slim. I can assure you whatever concern you now have for her weight just sounds like abuse to her. You stole her joy of cooking and food. I totally forgot about that. She stopped cooking, right?
true. That was, like, her main hobby.
And now
Her pleasures.
she felt bad for doing that because you told her she looked big.
Terrible. They obliterated her
And,
mental health.
you stole her safe home, you stole her happy family moments. All for what? Because a child who was confirmed to be medically healthy? Right, because she was not even fucking obese, Isaac. She was healthy BMI. The nurse said
Yeah,
healthy. And
but
I
because
know
she didn't
yeah.
yeah, it's super messed up because she didn't fit into what their family thought looked skinny or whatever, that they apparently think that that's, like, a major problem or something.
And, like, who the hell goes to the school nurse this much, you know? My family has never been to the school nurse in my life. I
Yeah, I mean, does she have a doctor though?
yeah,
This is something that you the doctor would bring up when they come in for a checkup,
yeah,
not something with the family.
the school nurse? Okay. Um, and, because she was medically healthy, dared to put on a little weight. You were all disgusting and she would be better off without you. Your sister needs urgent medical and psychological help. To work through her abuse, you, your sister, and your parents have subjected her to. Help her. It's the fucking least you can do. And then keep your judgmental noises out of her weight.
Yep, that's the right call. You gotta yeah, that's perfect. I mean, at this point, all you can do is say sorry, explain what you did and how you contributed to that and what you think's happening. Help her get a therapist, somebody to talk to, and then yeah, just work
Yeah,
on shutting up about it.
yeah, and
And then go for forgiveness.
yeah. I don't. This is the only, post on the OP's account, and it doesn't seem like they gave any comments, I guess, but across the fucking board, you're the asshole. You gave your sister an eating disorder.
Yep, it's right there, right in what you just wrote.
Um, Let me see if there's another comment that has any more interesting. Let me see. Um, You're the asshole. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Obviously. I'm trying to see if there's any like downvoted comments to see if there's anybody who might have disagreed because that's always kind of fun. But
Something. Yeah.
it seems like across the board, maybe they didn't put any comments or like just went away because like they realize how many people fucking hate them in the comments.
Yeah.
And here's kind of as someone with an eating disorder, you're the asshole. You ruined her life, and she'll never be the same again, which is really sad and true. She'll
Yeah, it
never
is true.
be the
It's like
same again
it's
because
real psychological damage. It's not just it's physical damage. It's physically dangerous.
yeah. And yeah, no, this is just oh, I found something. Let me see. Not the asshole. Blaming family is less helpful in situations like these, and an eating disorder is a very deep rooted psychological condition. Why do you think it's deep rooted?
Exactly. What do you think the psychological condition comes from? I mean, even if they didn't cause it directly, that could not have been helpful. Mm.
Yeah, no. It's just not the asshole. Nobody's responsible for the choices other people make. On the other hand, she seems to be going through something and she may need therapy or an intervention. I feel like you can't really say nobody is responsible for the other choices people make when you're like a child and you have parents or something. I feel like that's
Yeah, yeah. I mean, your parents, yeah, when they're all getting involved in bullying you over your weight, like, terrible.
yeah, no, this is just really sad and what's your hope for a potential good ending out of this?
Um, that she gets good therapy and that the family sees what they did to cause this, and works towards making up for it.
I'm gonna say she gets some therapy and she cuts off her family or something when she
That
goes to
might be
college or something.
yeah, I mean, if she thinks that's the best option, then, I'd
Because
support it.
I don't know how this person can like think like this. That I might have affected her negatively. No, you obviously did. You guys are monsters.
That's what's so weird about it, is it's all and they're also, like, she's so in the dark about it, she's acting like it's not obvious.
Yeah, I really don't know. It's like, and also they something that's kind of just shows how much of an asshole they are. It's like, how much we encourage her. She wouldn't eat, so we kind of ate without her. You know, they said
Mhm.
yeah. Um, so they ate without her, and that was just such a because they couldn't eat together, so they ate without her. That's such like a mean thing to do. Like someone who was doing all this cooking and food, like, and then you decide, no, I'm not gonna let you be part of our regular family stuff because of all your messed up like body issues that we gave you.
Yeah, it's messed up. And I forgot about the statement. The OP said that they one time told their sister that they should try fasting.
Yeah, and then
What it's just a
when
terrible
she starts fasting, she's like, no,
exactly.
no, no. You gotta be
So
like us, slim, like me and older 25 female sister, slim,
mhm,
you know?
yeah, well,
That's yeah, I think that's all we have to say on that story, but,
yeah.
Jesus
I wonder
Christ.
if it's the parents that made all their children that messed up, have
Let's
such a
see.
weird, messed up lens.
Am I the asshole for choosing my stepsister over my bio sister?
I don't know. This is really one you need to know the full story.
I'm worried I destroyed my relationship with my sister. This past weekend, my 18 female bio sister, Dan, 25 female, so she's an 18 female and her bio sister, Dan, is 25, got married. Um, some backstory is that my mom and my dad amicably divorced when I was 8 and Dan was 15. My dad started dating my now stepmom when I was almost 9 and got married by the time I was 12. Stepmom had a daughter who moved in with us. Grace, 18 female, is the same age as me. We never got along until around our mid teen years, and I like to say that I have a bonus sister that I love with all my heart. Unfortunately, Dan never liked stepmom or Grace. There was a big age gap and she never got over the fact that her parents divorced. She never forgot about me when she went to college and eventually moved out and begun dating her now husband. Anyways, stepmom and Grace were not invited to her wedding over the weekend. Her wedding was about a 3 hour drive away from my dad's house. My dad and I decided to carpool. About halfway through the drive, my dad got a frantic call from my stepmom. Grace had an accident while riding a horse at her grandparents' and got taken to the hospital in an ambulance. I can't really describe the desperation coming from stepmom over the phone. Dad told me we had to turn around and tried calling Dan. He couldn't get a hold of her, so he called my mom. He let her know that we had to turn around due to an emergency, and he wouldn't be able to walk Dan down the aisle. The wedding
Mhm.
started at 1 p.m. and we left at 8:30 a.m., so we turned around at 10 a.m. By the time we got to the hospital, it was 11 a.m. Luckily, Grace only fractured her back and wasn't seriously injured. The doctor said it could have been a major a major or deadly injury. I was so anxious that I was nauseous and I don't feel comfortable driving 3 hours on my own. I texted my mom and Dan letting them know everything and that I won't make it. I didn't hear back from Dan until that night, saying she was really disappointed in me and devastated that she chose my stepsister over her real sister. It's now Wednesday and she still hasn't answered me. I also think I'm blocked from her on Facebook. Am I the asshole because I missed her wedding? And I think there's like two edits or something, or like a clarification or
Okay.
something. But
Hmm.
here, I think let me do the clarification first. ETA, it says, I'm getting a lot of questions regarding this. The estimated time of arrival. I'm getting a lot of questions regarding this. My sister did not have a rehearsal dinner or a wedding party. That is why we weren't there the night before. Our plan was to be there at 11:30. Our mom arrived at 10. The original plan was to have a big brunch the following day with all of the family members that had to travel. Also, Uber in the part of the state we were going is almost non-existent, especially for a considerable drive.
Interesting. This is a complicated situation,
Um,
but
I'm gonna say this might be an I Isaac. Whenever I read like stories like this or like listen to other Reddit podcasts, I'm like, am I the asshole for just having a wrong opinion about this?
yeah,
And I'm gonna say I don't think you're that much of an asshole. I'm gonna be honest. I don't think you're an asshole.
I agree. I think I agree. I don't think OP's an asshole at all, but I also understand why the sister is upset.
Yeah,
I
I
I hope
do
she can get over
understand
it.
that.
Like, it's a really unfortunate timing. Let's just say that.
It
Like,
is. Yeah,
it really sucks that she has to miss the wedding because that is, like, a pretty big deal. But, like, again, like, they don't that injury could have been really serious.
yeah, and
So, like
Grace and her became really close together, and it does suck for Dan for this shit to happen,
mhm,
I sympathize with everyone here, but th- I don't see how she can be an asshole of this altitude. Maybe a slight asshole, but like I don't think it's that bad, honestly. It's a situation that sucks.
I agree. That's my kind of thought. I just kinda feel bad for everybody. I don't, because I mean, okay, even if it wasn't, like, it was her instincts, like, her sister, who she loves, is in, like, danger. Like, you're gonna wanna go make sure that's okay
Yeah,
first, that's
yeah.
like a priority, even though it's, like, it's obviously the wedding is a big deal, but, like,
Yeah. Something I feel
you
like
know
we might be overlooking is the fact that, why is Dan like so like antagonistic of like stepmom and Grace, because
Yeah,
like I
yeah, she's
understand that she never got over the divorce of the parents. I mean,
mhm.
I feel like you should probably invite them to the wedding.
I
It's your
agree.
wedding, but it's like the situation might have been avoided if everyone would be driving to the wedding, you know?
That's true, it's true. It's kind of an awkward situation because of that. And I will say, I don't blame the sister for being upset that her sister didn't make it to the wedding, but I think she's the asshole until she realizes that it wasn't, like, until she stops, until she understands and forgives her sister for not showing up. Not as because the act of not going to the wedding wasn't malicious. It was, you know,
So it's kind of a mix in the comments. Some say you're the asshole, not the asshole, and I don't really know what to make of this.
yeah.
But top comment is you're the asshole slightly, and your father certainly for waiting them for the morning of the wedding to drive there. You both should have been there the night before. There are too many things that can go wrong. If he had been there that morning, he could have walked her down the aisle and then driven to the hospital. Unless he's a surgeon, there was really nothing he could do to help. You could have stayed for the reception and returned the next day.
That's a good point. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
That just in the first place, the situation should never have come to be.
Yeah, yeah, no, that is a fair idea, but I still think it's
Mhm.
I feel like, you can always think about these things in hindsight. Like I should have done that. I
Yeah,
should have been there. But it's like in the moment, things just happen the way they happen. It's like I feel like assholes are have to be kind of malicious in their intent to be an assholes, like the
I
family
agree.
fucking was to their daughter. But these seem like it's kind of a unfortunate situation. Bad draw of the dice, you
Yeah,
know?
I agree, yeah, and I actually think that Dan it was unfair of her to phrase that as choosing her half-sister over her biological sister, because that's not really what she did, like, these are completely different situations. It's
Yeah,
not like
yeah.
she chose to go to her half-sister's wedding over her biological sister's wedding, it's like her half-sister was in immediate danger. Her instinct was
Um,
to make sure she's
yeah,
okay.
yeah. Um,
Yeah,
um, Unpopular opinion, but you're the asshole. Why couldn't you and your dad go to the ceremony and then leave to go to the hospital? What were you going to do? Perform the surgery? Give her the IV? I understand that your stepmom needing support, but couldn't she have other family members supporting her while your dad walked her down the aisle? Also, was there no rehearsal dinner or wedding activities that you guys were a part of? I mean, she said no. Um, you, I guess that was in the edit though.
probably after.
Yeah, and you weren't getting ready. Sounds like the wedding was an afterthought to both of you, which I feel like that's a bit much to say that. You know?
Yeah, I don't think you could presume that from what we know, but I do understand, like, it really is disappointing that her father wasn't there to help her
Yeah.
down the
It's definitely a situation that needed like I sh- some more thought before even doing this thing. And not all weddings have like rehearsal dinners and or wedding like stuff like that. It could just be the wedding itself. Sometimes they're just like that. And so it's like a bit unfair to say, were you not there before? Why? You know?
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I think if she knew her sister was gonna be okay, it would have been a different story, but they didn't know for sure. Right, they were
Um.
scared.
Yeah. A lot of comments are just attacking the father because your father is a much bigger asshole. What is he gonna do? Fucking do the surgery on her? That is a big argument that a lot of what are you gonna do? Put the IV in her? That's such a comment that a lot of people are doing.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I understand what they're saying, but at the same time, if they really don't yeah, again, if this half sister is seriously injured, you still wanna be around her.
You're the asshole. What a horrible thing to do to your sister on her wedding day.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it does suck, but are there any comments that say not the asshole?
Let me see. Not the asshole, but I think you should look at her from her perspective a little. Having her father not walk her down the aisle is a big deal. And because she was taking photos and probably didn't have her phone on her, she probably didn't know until the last minute that this is a huge, huge statement of fatherly love. It only wasn't going to happen, but it was never going to happen. From her perspective, her father chose someone else over her at one of the most symbolically important moments of her life.
That's a good opinion. I
That is
mean,
a
I
good
think that's
opinion.
true.
That's fair.
It really is devastating for
Yeah, I
everybody.
mean, and I really understand Dan's side. I would say Dan, you're not the asshole. Definitely
No,
not. Honestly,
no.
OP. If I was to rank the assholes, Dan's not the asshole. OP slight, but it's like very unfortunate. You are a teenager, and then the
Yeah,
father's probably the biggest asshole. But I don't want to attack the father that much because he has like Grace has basically become his daughter too.
yeah, and this is crisis, right? It is a reaction to crisis.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It's yeah.
Um. It seems there's an edit.
Ooh,
12:26 p.m. Just got off a phone call with Dan. We are having dinner on Saturday in the city she lives. Dad was not invited to join us. At this time, I'm going to keep the details of the call private. I hope to update this Sunday or next. Thank you to everyone who commented with actual advice.
Nice. That's a
So
good
it's not
ending.
much, but it's something. I think the OP does do some things here. It comments a bit. Someone said you're the asshole when you choose step whatever over your family. You deserve to get cut off, which is I don't know.
Yeah, and that's I mean, the whole you chose your step sibling over your family, that's just all
Yeah,
blood at that point. It doesn't matter.
yeah. I
It's
mean,
family
like
is family.
I wouldn't say like if I don't have any step siblings or step parents or anything like that. But if I
Mhm.
did, I would and, like, I've been with them for maybe at least 4 years, which it seems like this has at least been or something, I guess. I would probably consider them family at that point, you know?
Yeah, yeah, and that's the whole point, isn't it? You're trying to make it like a real family. I don't know.
Thank you and then the OP says to that, "Thank you for your input. I don't see them as step family anymore. They've been around for half of my life. I understand that's not the same for Dana anymore." Which is I guess that's more sense.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think a
Um,
dinner with yeah,
yeah.
if OP has a dinner with Dan, they can kinda talk about their sides of it, and hopefully they can kinda reach a sense of understanding.
You're not the asshole because your sister had an accident where anything could have happened, and your dad being 3 hours away probably wouldn't have been for the best. Your sister isn't going to forgive easily though. It was her wedding day, and I do think she has some right to be upset that her two family members weren't be able to be there. I don't know your sister, so I can't say if she will forgive you soon or not, but I would say try not to push it. Maybe send a nice bunch of flowers to, or wedding or her wedding gift with a small note apologizing and letting her know that you're there if she ever wants to talk. You're not pushing it then, but you're opening up the conversation lines.
Good, that's a good idea. Good
That's a good
advice.
idea.
Yeah,
I mean,
express the love.
yeah, I'm gonna say this. Dan has a right to be upset, but like I would say there's a kind of an expiration date on how long you're about to be allowed to be upset about this. I'm gonna have to say like, okay, you can be
Mhm.
maybe upset for the next few weeks, I guess. But it's like if you
Yeah,
push it, then you're just being kind. You're becoming an asshole too at that point. I'm going to have to say, if I'm going to be
I
honest,
agree.
that's my
But it's
personal opinion.
yeah, I agree. But it sounds like according to that edit that they're gonna talk,
Yeah, which is
at dinner,
the father's
which
not
is
going to be
good.
there, but
Yeah, but, whatever.
maybe the
That's
father's
okay,
going
the
to take a little
father
bit more time. You know.
yeah, because she's the one like, I mean, that would be a real blow, not having your father there to, like, walk you down the aisle when you're expecting it. That's harder to
This is the fucking Um, interesting comment. You're the asshole, and frankly, I'm shocked at both of you and your father. Fucking disgraceful. I hope your sister goes no contact with both of you.
like, gosh,
That's such an overreaction. That's such an overreaction.
it is that is
And there's a
a
comment that
really
says,
interesting
I
lens.
know this might be unpopular, but not the asshole, which is really funny because there was a comment that said, is not unpopular, but you're the asshole. So it seems
Uh-huh.
like it's such a mixed bag here for
Yeah, this
people.
is one of the most, like, on the edge one of these I've ever seen, I think.
Yeah, and I guess we kind of got what we need from this story, but what's your final consensus?
It's a really unfortunate situation, but you're not the asshole, is what I'm
Yeah,
gonna say.
I'm inclined to agree on that point. I'm going to have to say. I'm going to have to
Yes,
say.
but everybody's feelings are valid.
Yeah. And I wouldn't want this to linger on for too long because then you're just getting in the way of real family bonding. And I want I want Dan to like be connected with the step family because I don't know if there's any animosity between like because I know there's this trope of evil stepmoms. I don't know if there's any scenario like that here, but I would like for them to be more connected. I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like they're mostly just disconnected because of time and
Yeah.
just circumstance, but, yeah, it'd be nice if they could get to know each other better,
Um.
outsider perspective.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's all I think we have for that story.
It's a good one.
Um. Here's our next
Ooh,
story. And there's an edit. Am I the asshole for outing my younger sister to my older sister?
okay, right off the bat, usually in these situations, you're not that's a bad thing to do.
Yeah, forced outings is
Uh,
kind of like one of the worst things you can do, you know?
yeah, it's something that's, like,
That's
very
like a
clearly
villain move or something, like in Love, Simon, I guess. Um,
yeah, maybe you're right. It's
so
a
I,
issue.
18 female, recently heard a very similar story on here where the OP got the a-hole verdict. So I kind of accepted that I'm the a-hole as well. However, I told my boyfriend about this and he says that I'm not the a-hole. Well, I
Oh,
have five siblings. My older sister, 24 female, is getting married soon. Parentheses, COVID restrictions have been lifted in my area, and everyone that's coming needs to be tested. This was 3 years ago, so just for
okay.
context. So it's like 2021,
Yeah,
2020 kind of area, I assume. And so
mhm,
people are probably still like
on edge, or
on
it's
eggshells about that. Um, Mostly everyone is happy for my sister, except for my younger sister, who is almost 14. All she talks about is her. All she talks about is all she talks about is her. What 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 cake flavor she likes. What dress she thinks bridesmaids should wear. What themes she wants. And since she's the second youngest, no one reminds her that it's not her wedding.
okay.
Well, about 2 weeks ago, she told me that her master plan to come out as a lesbian at her sister's wedding and have her cousin film it for TikTok. She planned on
Um,
raising her hand when they asked for objections and come out to everyone. I kept telling her not to, but she says that I'm homophobic. I tried for a whole week to convince her not to, but then I decided to tell my older sister about her plans. She tried to speak to my younger sister about this, but my younger sister was pissed that I outed her and said that she will also tell everyone about both of our homophobia. My older sister decided that she couldn't come to the wedding. Now we are trying to figure out how to tell my mom without outing her again. So am I the asshole for telling my sister about my younger sister's plans? And would I be the asshole if I told my mom why my younger sister is no longer invited?
this is ridiculous.
What
I'm
a what
s
a fucking weird thing. Okay, the sister sounds
okay,
like a monster or something like that.
it does, but it also sounds like a character made up by, like, some, like,
It
conservative,
definitely it
like,
might be fake, but
radio host.
just for we take it like it's a real story, which I hope it is.
I hope it
Wh-
isn't, but okay.
what's the consensus? Not the
Um,
asshole. I'm gonna have to say.
Unfortunately, I would have to say that as well, I think. Assuming this was a completely real I would say especially at least telling the older sister. I mean, you gotta be really argued with your younger sister about this. Outing her is not something outing people is, like, dangerous thing to do. People's lives can be at danger if you out them. It's like,
Yeah,
but, like,
but this seems like I and also
it's
how much can you really believe the sister's claims that she is that way, or she's not just doing it for TikTok? You know.
it's true.
And it could also
Yeah,
be one of
like
those
mentioned.
scenarios where, maybe she really is a lesbian and she's just going through with it in like a bad way. Like I'm gonna out it myself and like maybe she's like dealing it poorly or something. It could be either of those scenarios, but in either case, you just gotta talk to like an older adult about this or like your sister at least since it's her wedding. And you definitely have to tell the mom about this whole plan so the mom can have like a strict conversation with the daughter or something.
Yeah, I think that's fair. It's unfortunate, but I mean, okay, so the little sister, she tells you these plans. The first thing to tell her is that don't do it. If you really are gonna do it, I'm going to have to tell the older sister because there's no other option. You're not giving me any other option. And if she still refuses and insists, that
Yeah.
she's gonna do this, then well, yeah, then you don't really have a choice. And in that situation, that's really on her,
Um
the younger sister.
Seems
I
like
don't
people
know.
are saying not the asshole. You want a perspective from a commenter who is a homosexual themselves?
I do.
I generally say that outing someone's sexuality automatically makes you the asshole. But this is a kind of different situation. As a homosexual myself, I understand wholeheartedly that about being comfortable with who you are and taking pride in being out and open about your sexuality. But there is a time and a place when it's appropriate to come out. And at someone else's wedding is absolutely not the place. Your younger sister needs a wake up call and to realize that a wedding is not the right time or the place to do such a thing. You had all the right intentions to let your older sister know what your younger sister planned to do, so not the asshole. As for telling your
Yeah,
mother why your younger sister is not invited, I would just say that she's not invited. If she asks why, I would say something along the lines of she planned on causing a scene to draw attention to her, and away from the bride and the groom. Outing
that's a
your
good
then they end up with outing her to your mom would make you the asshole, though.
that's fair.
I
I
would
think
say
that's a really
yeah,
good point.
that's a really good
Yeah,
point.
that there is a good way of telling the mom why without explaining, without outing her.
Yeah, I would say that's a pretty fair point you could do. Very fair.
I agree, yeah.
Um,
Well, because for the younger sister, if it was really just about sharing with people who you really are, and it
yeah,
wouldn't really matter that you do it at the wedding. And if she still insists on doing it at the wedding, that's something else, right?
yeah. But I think that
There's no
really the thing that kind of just changes this whole thing is that doing it for TikTok.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Is it even real at that point? Is it just for the attention? I
I
don't
feel like it
like,
might be
is
like,
is it
the remember the story about the
the
sister
sister who
who on the PS5? At that
yeah,
point, I feel like it's just, you're just doing it for attention, and you don't actually want to come out for like to become who you are or something like that with other people you love. It's just you're doing it for attention at that point. Is my
yeah,
perspective.
because
Eh,
is it even sincere at that point? And in that case, you have to, I mean, telling the sister was like a necessary evil, or
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the right way to say it, but it was unfortunate that she but
Um. Not the asshole, not the asshole, not the asshole. It's important for people to be able to express who they are, and someone's sexuality is a big part of who they are, but you don't hijack someone's wedding. And definitely not for TikTok. What the fuck? Get her a therapist because that's narcissistic as fuck. That is a fair point.
yep. Another story where therapy would do, like, a lot of good work.
I think every single story you've ever read needs a therapist.
I think everybody in the world just needs a therapist, and then
Yeah. Um. Not the asshole. Also, someone's bringing up a point that not. I'm gonna say you are not the asshole, but your sister might be an asshole just because she's a teenager too. She's acting out and all that stuff.
yeah, that's a good point. She's still young, and she's still discovering herself, so,
And
you
but
know,
it's not. You should probably try and nip this in the bud while you can, while she's more impressionable at 14. So you gotta
I
stop this
agree.
before it kind of the trash in the river kind of freezes over, and she kind of becomes who she is. You gotta stop this
Yeah,
kind of like needing for attention or TikTok sexuality type of thing. Before she like
I agree,
gets to like 18 or something, when becomes a much worse situation.
and that's when therapy would help in the long term, and in the short term, if you think about this too, outing the sister to the older sister, think about if this little sister actually did go through with these plans, she'd probably live to regret it, 'cause
I I
the whole
would
family
hate
would be resenting her and turn against her for, like, making this about herself.
it
So,
because
like
yeah.
so it's doing her a favor, I don't know. I mean,
It might be doing her a favor, but I definitely don't think
she might not
um
understand it in the short term, but she'll probably be happy that they didn't let her go through with this in the long term.
yeah.
I don't know.
I would. There is an idea that this might be a really controversial take, and I don't want to be controversial. I don't want to be attack anyone or like that. But people are saying like, don't tell the mom. I think you kind of have to tell the mom. I'm gonna have to say, just it's bad to out someone, but I feel like this is such a like intimate situation. But I feel like within family could be like better or something. I don't know. Or maybe you try to encourage the daughter to tell the mom herself.
Yeah, I could see doing that. I do agree though, I don't think it's necessary necessarily to tell the mom.
Because, like,
Uh,
it's gonna get hard to say what the situation. I guess you can just say she's planning to do something for attention on TikTok and hijacking a wedding, but it's gonna be hard to say, like, what's the content of what she's gonna do to the mom, you know? Telling her what's happening with what she's gonna do to make this big, like, scene, you know? I don't know.
yeah, maybe you could, like, make up a story or something. I really don't but I understand what you're saying. It'd be weird to be all cryptic about it, but
Ooh, we're getting some new info in the edit.
what is it?
Um, Edit 1. Please don't say anything mean about my little sister. Everyone in my family is adopted. Parentheses, including my parents. An older sister and I are the only ones who haven't been through trauma. We were both adopted from India when we were babies. My sister was in foster care until she was 9 and has been separated through a lot and has been through a lot. She was almost drowned by her bio mom, shot by a cop for her race, and separated from her bio siblings. And so I don't want you guys thinking she's some spoiled brat. Someone mentioned that her normal meter is probably messed up, and that's true. She has a harder time understanding what's normal and what isn't. She's been in therapy since she's lived with us.
Jeez.
That's some context.
Yeah, okay. I don't think this is a character made up anymore. But
This
yeah, I
does
would say
it definitely brings the idea of why she would do this and the idea of like trauma, you know?
yeah, and this definitely encourages that, yeah, more therapy is definitely needed. But I could also see this as a better argument to keep it away from the mom a little bit.
Yeah. And yeah, no, this is now it just makes more of a sad scenario then. Like
Mhm.
it feels like she's just kind of do this because she feels like I don't know, maybe like attacked or somewhere or something like that from the world or something. And it's like maybe
Well,
some
she
way
has
of like trying to take
yeah,
control or something, I guess.
it's hard for anybody to analyze
But
the
I
effect
don't
that her
it's
passed out on her. She needs
it's
therapy,
and she is
and
still in therapy, so I don't know.
that's good, and she told the older sister, and fortunately, that seemed like that was necessary, but,
And the
you
thing
know
is, if this is happening, I feel like maybe if she's been in therapy since she's lived with you, she's maybe more in therapy, or like you gotta change your therapist or something. I don't know.
yeah, yeah,
I don't know. But not the asshole. You did the right thing. Pulling that kind of self-dramatizing stunt as at someone's wedding is the asshole move. You don't have the right to out her to anyone further, whether your mom knows the reason or not. She is likely to try to force bringing the problem kid to the wedding anyway, so you need to have a plan on how to turn that away. And the OP says, I don't think she will force my sister to bring her. My mother is amazing, but she knows my younger sister very well. She may try to have a talk with her and ask older sister if she would consider giving younger sibling another chance, but she would never push it. I also didn't think it was relevant, but younger sibling was in foster care until she was 9 and has faced a lot of trauma. At one point in her birth, at one point her birth mother attempted drowning her, and although her making everything about herself is annoying, I'm happy that she's becoming a normal teenager.
okay,
That's like they
that's
do a few more comments, but
so it sounds like a family that loves and cares about each other, but just with some of these people have trauma,
yeah.
and hopefully they can work through that.
But yeah, and some people are really intense, right? About like she saying she's the asshole, and I feel like it's like that thing where it's like you can't really be mean to like you shouldn't really be mean to child actors for being like for their acting abilities because it's kind of a harsh environment. So you really shouldn't be mean to that sister, the sister, younger sister that much, you know?
Yeah,
But
you
so
gotta have a lot of sympathy and understanding,
yeah,
when addressing the situation, which is why outing her to more people than you need to,
yeah.
realistically, is not a good idea.
Not the asshole. Don't mention it to your mom, though. Also, when you say master plan to come out as a lesbian, like your sister is actually a lesbian, right? When I first read this, I honestly thought she was just wanting to do it for TikTok and for attention. If she is a lesbian, then as a lesbian myself, the lesbian community does not claim her. Okay, that's a bit weird.
I don't think it works like that.
Yes, OP says, yes, she is a lesbian. I think everyone knows that she isn't straight, but we've all been waiting for her to come out to find out how she exactly identifies. But my older sister's wedding is not the time to do so.
That's fair. She's the LP seems to have it reasonable.
And then the commenter says, the same one with the lesbian community one, she says, okay, she's still an asshole and lesbians still don't claim her. Good luck.
Okay.
Not the asshole. So you get the idea. Not the asshole, but I honestly don't know what to do in this situation. I think the best bet is what the earlier commenter said. You know, talk to the mom about this, but don't out her
Yeah.
explicitly, and just kind of encourage conversation with between the sister, and like maybe we'll have a real talk with the younger sister. Like, why are you doing this? What's the point?
Yeah. Yeah. Or and can if the older sister knows, couldn't all 3 of them have a conversation? Yeah, and she says, "I want you to come to my wedding, but I can't have you doing this. That's rude. Explain why." And then say, "If you wanna come to my wedding, you can, but just you have to agree to that you won't do this." I don't know. And then therapy.
I have an objection. I'm a lesbian.
Yeah, I guess that's what it would be like. But they've gotta be able to, like, logically ration with her about this, like the
Um,
older sister, but maybe not, I don't know.
someone
Maybe
here,
therapy.
someone gave a little plan, I guess. Not the asshole. Though I think a better move would be talking to your younger sister first and telling her that her plan is inappropriate, and that if she didn't talk to her older sister about it, then you would have to. Either way, usually outing someone is a big no-no, given that she was about to come out anyway in the middle of someone else's wedding. I feel like in this case, it was warranted to prevent the eight-holery. You can tell your mom she's uninvited because it came to light that she was planning on disrupting the wedding, or simply because she and older sister have severely fallen out. Outing her to your mom isn't necessary, so you might be a small asshole if you did that, but younger sister is the asshole overall, which isn't surprising given that she's only 14.
That's a good opinion, like, rational, understanding opinion, I guess.
Um, OP says to that, I'm torn. My mom is the queen of pep talks. She somehow knows exactly what you need to hear no matter what. So I want to tell her that younger sibling is going through to see if my mom will help her or talk to her therapist about it. But on the other hand, I don't want to put her, I don't want to put her like through a bad situation, I guess. She's been through a lot in her life, and I think she needs someone to talk to about this. But she won't speak to me, and I can't really tell anyone without outing her again.
Hmm. Yeah, it's a difficult situation.
This might be the hardest situation because, like, first story, we got the situation where it's like it's kind of an easier situation where the girl, the daughter, she needs to like leave her family or something like that, like therapy or something. Second situation, which was what was it?
They
What
just
was
need
it?
to that was with the wedding and the horse. They just needed to reconcile.
They just need to reconcile.
Just
This
talk
one is
about it.
like a harder situation than those two because like it doesn't have a clear answer other than like a real serious conversation with the younger sibling. You know.
Yeah. I think in the long term, though, it should be okay. If they seem like they have good supportive system, supportive family with good supportive systems, but, therapy and all that.
And there's not much I need to release. I can check. Let me check the OP's account actually. It doesn't seem like it. I think their account was suspended.
Interesting.
Um, yeah, and so that's all we really have to say. There's no. Let me. I can check to see if there's another edit or anything like that. Because she says edit one, so I wonder if
Uh-huh.
there's an edit two. No. Um, yeah. Next story. Am I the asshole for stealing my sister's horse?
Another story with horse in it.
Horse. What do you think this story could be?
Um, I don't know, it sounds like a pretty, not relatable situation and,
You'd
like,
see,
more of like a s
you'd be surprised. Have you met any horse girls in your life?
like my brother maybe? I no.
um,
I mean, I've known people who are really into horses
yeah.
and horseback riding.
I haven't. I've only been on a horse once in my life.
Same. It's fun,
Um,
kind of.
it's fun. I don't really remember it, but it was fun, I think. It's not a thing I probably can do for most of my life, I'm assuming. You know,
Yeah, I think
I don't think it's for me.
it's kind of reserved nowadays for, like,
Rich people, which is funny
people who
because
rich people who really wanna do it.
where it's like in the past, rich people had cars and poor people had horses. Where now it's
Yep,
more, it's like rich people still have cars, but still, it's like more. It's more an idea that rich people like can have horses too, because like you don't see our average person
no, 'cause a horse
using a
isn't
horse.
practical. It's not
Yeah,
practical anymore, it's just a sport.
yeah.
But
But I do get those horses in Red Dead too. So
that's true, that's close enough. Okay.
I, 20 female, started in online side hustles 1 year ago and have made a pretty good income since. My sister always wanted to have a horse, and I also loved horses. I bought one for myself about 6 months ago. I called her Reina, and I have to admit I don't always go horse riding. I told my sister, 22 female, she could ride whenever she wanted to, and she started taking lessons on her. My sister loved Reina. At one point, she tried changing her name, but I did not allow it. After a while, she started calling her my horse, and she would
Oh god.
frequently invite friends to ride her. I would hear it from the stable owner. I didn't think much of it until recently. My
Uh,
sister came to me and said that she wanted to move Reina to another stable. I asked her why, and she said that she wanted Reina in the same stable as her friend's horse. I didn't like the idea, but after all, she is frequently riding on Reina, and the other stable is also closer to home. So I said, sure. Then she said she had already arranged everything because she knew I'd say yes. I got annoyed, but I just let it slide. So last week, I went to visit Reina and wanted to ride. Turns out my sister also wanted to do horse riding. I haven't been on Reina for 2 months or so, while my sister rides like 3, 4 times a week. I told my sister that I only have time for that day and that she could rent a horse for that one lesson on my costs. So like
yeah,
she could ride
on your
another horse while she rides Raina or something, on
on the owner's
OP's cost, yeah. So she then told me that I should get off of her horse and rent one for myself.
oh gosh.
If I wanted to ride that one that bad. We got into an argument, and she literally yelled at me for everything. She said that I am a bad sister, that I don't care about her, that I am a brat, and I don't deserve anything. Now our relationship has always been bad, and she has always had anger issues, but this reaction really pissed me off. I told her that Reina was not her horse in any sense. I pay for all the expenses. I paid for the horse, and my name is the name on Reina's passport. Horses have passports? Interesting.
Apparently,
Apparently. Um, I told her that from now on, she is not allowed to ride Reina and she can either buy herself a horse or rent one, but she needs to stay away from mine. My sister kept yelling and said that I am stealing her horse and that Reina doesn't even know me. She said that I am the worst sister ever and has told her parents. My parents think that I am right, but I am overreacting because my sister has always had anger issues. They are saying that my sister really loves horse riding and she loves Reina. I told them she should have thought about that before disrespecting me. So, am I the asshole? And there's an update.
okay.
So,
Well, this one's a little bit difficult as well, but I would
I'm
say
gonna
off the bat She's
Um,
not the asshole?
I'm gonna say no, and I think it's actually kind of more simplified than the others. I'm gonna be
You're
my
right.
on. I'm gonna say it's
That's
like
fair.
not that hard to like. She's being mean to the OP. Okay, you don't get my fucking horse anymore. You can't. Why are you acting like this when it's my fucking horse
That's
that I
true.
bought with my money? It's my name on the horse's passport, Isaac. Passport.
Sure, she pays for all the costs, and it's her horse. I think it sucks, like, the sister she kinda let the sister get, like, really attached to the horse to a point where it's like she started to think of the horse as her own horse, which was not ideal that she kinda grew that attachment, but, I mean, it is the owner's horse, and there's
Yeah,
nothing around that, and it
and
was generous of her to let her sister ride her
yeah,
whenever she wants.
yeah. It kind of comes with an idea that like you know beggars really cannot be choosers in that scenario. Because
Yeah,
like you want the horse, and now you're creating like this sort of list of like not a list of demands, but like you're saying she doesn't even know you. She doesn't even know your horse. Like it's my horse, really. It's my horse, not yours.
yeah,
You know. It's like
she
it
actually
just it
called
just comes of disrespect and tone deafness, I guess.
No, I agree, I agree. It's very she let herself get too invested in this horse that's not even hers, or started to think of it as her own horse
Yeah, yeah.
when
I don't.
it isn't.
Um.
What are the
Someone. What do you think of the
people?
comments say?
I think the people say you're not the asshole because I mean, from everything you can see, this is a woman who bought a horse and then let her sister ride it whenever she wants. Like that's just a she's just being nice, like straight up.
I would say this scenario would be like less of an asshole if the sister was maybe like younger or something. Like I get her scenario, and yes, the sister has anger issues, but the sister is older than her. She's 22, and OP's 20. So
Yeah,
and so it's a
yeah, like
scenario. It's not you don't even get to be like asshole because you're a teenager. You're a full adult who hasn't worked on their anger issues, and now you're just being mean to your sister on a horse that she lets you use.
that's
So
true.
get your fucking own horse then.
She needs to think about this more clearly.
You know,
Uh,
am I the asshole kind of goes to this weird point where it's like, it's either you're so, there's only like three scenarios really. It's either like, you're so not the asshole that you must be like tricked into thinking you're the asshole. You're such
mhm,
an asshole that you don't see it, or it's like, it gets you a really interesting, weird scenarios where it's maybe kind of, I don't know, slight. And this is a scenario
yeah,
where I think like, you're saying stealing in parentheses and like for the title, but it's not stealing. You're just keeping your own shit.
true. It's not. I mean, it's yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I guess that's the weird thing though about having ownership over like an animal is it's like 'cause you could form like you form bonds with it more than you would form bonds with like an object. So the
Um,
sis yeah, the
yeah.
bonds that her sister has with these horse are more than just like a car or something, but it still is her horse, the OP's horse. So,
I'm seeing a really interesting comment here.
oh yeah,
In reading all of your replies, I get the feeling that you like the idea of owning a horse, but that's as far as it goes. You like the idea of stating the fact that she costs a lot of money. She only gets the best care, but you have absolutely no time for her personally. Your sister may be an asshole, but so are you.
yeah,
Damn. So you just want the
it's
horse for the idea of saying you have a horse.
yeah,
Which
that's
is
kind
not
of
something I really thought of, which yeah, like, the thing is, I don't mean to attack this as your thing, but it's like, why aren't you if you're gonna get a horse, why are you riding it? Why aren't you riding it more? Like,
yeah,
once every 2 months? I would ride that shit every weekend, baby. I don't
yeah, and that's what I was saying about like the difficulty of owning something that's like an animal is it's not really it's a different you can form relationships with somebody who doesn't own it, which is what happened.
yeah, the comment says, "This is how many folks own horses. They are still cared for and exercised. It's fine. It's very different from a pet. Equestrian culture is a whole thing." So that's kind
That's
of,
fair. It's
yeah.
not like the kind of animal you like
Like a
are
dog or a
intimately
cat.
bound with. Dog, yeah, it's like it's a riding animal.
Um, I'm
It's
getting an idea that like you're the asshole, but kind of enabling her which is fair. I would say that's fair.
Mhm.
You did enable her by
Yeah,
kind of giving her the horse so fucking much.
that's true. You let them grow a bond that was too close for them to have probably, for this to end well.
Everyone sucks here. Your sister may be an entitled brat, and your response seems completely appropriate to that, but say at the same time, remember that we are talking about a living creature here. You haven't visited or divvied anything for the first in 2 months. Yet your sister is visiting and taking her out multiple times a week. I don't know how much care and exercise the horses are given in the first background or who is doing that, but it definitely sounds from the outside that your sister is the one caring for your horse. Perhaps it's time to backtrack a little and set a more formal agreement in place with your sister. You have the right to ride whenever you want, and she is free to ride outside of those times, which is not something I consider. She is taking care of the horse, you know?
That is true, yeah, and that just goes to the whole complexities of owning a horse and what's what is required of it, yeah, and it does seem like this is the kind of thing, yeah, that, like, a deal on paper would be good, like
Yeah, no, like maybe a contract or something like that would really
exactly,
kind of finesse the things out like a bit, straighten them out. Because I'm saying
yeah,
like, yeah, you probably have like I assume she doesn't use a horse much because she has a busy job, and like obviously she has a job. It makes sense. She might make a lot of money enough to buy a horse,
mhm,
and so like, and your sister maybe it seems like she doesn't. She has more free time on her hands, so it does make sense. Like maybe a scenario definitely where she takes care of the horse and she gets to ride whenever she wants. But when like this person says, you get to ride the horse when you want, and I think the sister this just needs to be like written out like an agreement because that would just. I know it
I
seems like
agree.
a bit daunting, but that seems like it would just work.
Yeah, it seems like the situation is automatically already, like, a good situation, like, it's like it's kind of a win, like, she gets on a horse, her sister gets to ride a horse, like, it should work out naturally. The only time it clashes is, like, this specific thing where they both wanna ride the horse at the same time, which is rare.
Yeah,
So if they can ride around that to make sure that kinda thing doesn't happen, then this deal should work great, them sharing this horse.
yeah. And I want to touch on the whole anger issues thing. What do you think? Like, because that's like it seems to play a part in it. What do you think about that?
Um, yeah, I mean, it's obviously anger issues are, like, a real thing.
Yeah, no,
And if the parents know that or the family knows that she has these I don't know, maybe she sees a therapist or something.
uh,
Again, therapy coming
I
up,
know,
but,
I
like,
know. We kind of say it. We go to that thing a bit too much, but it may be the scenario. But I feel like you gotta maybe like say an agreement where it's like we both make some compromises. Okay, how about you work on your anger issues, but you can also be co-owner of the horse.
mhm,
That's
yeah,
a good compromise, I would say. Like,
yeah, they
try to
could talk about it.
figure it. I feel like it's just a nice conversation, like something on paper would be perfect.
I agree. I think they could come up with a deal that would make them all happy.
Um, Everyone sucks here. Your sister has no legal rights to the horse, and her trying to tell you to get off her horse was ridiculous behavior, certainly. However, you clearly think a living animal is just a status symbol. You don't love the horse. You don't care for the horse. You don't spend time with the horse. You just throw money at her basic maintenance and ignore her.
You know what this reminds me of?
What?
Pi Oh My and The Sopranos,
Yeah?
and how,
Yeah.
Ralph owns Pi Oh My, but Tony is really the one who loves her.
And guess what happens to Pyomai? Spoilers for The Sopranos. What happens to
That's not
Pyomai, Isaac?
I don't think we should say it. I think we should leave it those let the viewers enjoy it themselves.
Yeah. OP explains a bit. The OP, I think there's a few comments here, but there are a lot. And this response to the everyone sucks here comments I just read. I've explained this in so many comments. I've been busy with work and didn't have enough time to sleep. I love my horse and always try to visit her, but in the last 2 months, I did not have any time. My life has been full with work and study. I have to travel a lot for work, as well as meet new clients or projects, etc. I've been doing schoolwork on airplanes. I have been working my ass off to keep up with this life, and I pay thousands of dollars for Reina to be taken care of. Reina is being exercised multiple times a week. Before those 2 months, I tried to visit her at least once a week, but some people have to work damn hard that they don't have time for anything else. I certainly do love her. Besides, I am just done with my sister disrespecting me in any way possible and using me the maximum of what I provide.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it's fair to, because she's not neglecting the horse. She's
Yeah,
paying for the horse to be taken care of. It's not like the horse is like, misses her its owner or something.
yeah,
I don't
and
think that's a great argument, but
yeah, I would say, and I'm gonna say this. I'm like, I feel like I think I might have said this before, but it is a bit much to say that she's like kind of just using this as a status symbol. It's an interesting idea, but I feel like if you care this much about the horse, you wouldn't be just doing it for a status symbol. And I feel like they are being a bit much when they do say status symbol just for the horse.
mhm.
It's my personal opinion. I don't know about you, but yeah,
Well, yeah, okay, even if she did purchase the horse for a status symbol, like, okay, like, it doesn't actually mean anything.
you still
Like,
own the horse
for
and
the
you
horse
care
or
for it.
you, the horse
Yeah,
is not being abused or neglected or anything. It
yeah.
has, like, it's being paid to get exercise and all that.
And
So,
everyone sucks
I don't
here. So the comment is mostly not the asshole or everyone sucks here, and like you're both kind of sucky it from everyone sucks here. You know, like slight
yeah,
assholes. I guess everyone is
that's
kind of,
fair.
which is what I would agree. Everyone is a slight asshole in this scenario, but I would say the sister is mostly the asshole. And
Yeah, or sister of the OP.
everyone
I
sucks
don't know,
here. Horses are living beings. They require care and a regular source of exercise, which is riding for many modern horses. You're neglecting your horse and offloading her care onto your sister. Riding only once every 2 months, but she says she tries to
okay,
do it. Is that I feel like
again,
this person hasn't like read the replies or something. You know?
yeah, well, also, okay, the argument again, if the OP had this horse locked up in her yard, not getting any exercise, that'd be one thing, but from what I understand, she's paying for this horse to be taken care of
Yeah,
and exercise despite what her sister does.
yeah,
So the horse isn't being neglected, right?
yeah, and
I don't know.
yeah, and I'm saying so. I guess my final. Ooh, here's I know I read a lot of comments, but I'm saying someone says soft, you're the asshole. Worst person here. Reina needs regular exercise, and from the sound of things, it's going to take the two of you. Keeping horses healthy is tricky, and two pairs of eyes are better than one. Better to figure out a schedule where you can share, which is fair, I'm
Okay,
going to have to say.
yeah,
I would say you're the asshole for that scenario. I just feel like they need to do more work. At least just get something out on paper is my thing, you know? Just get this
yeah,
idea, because like,
I agree.
yeah.
No, I think
Um,
that's a good optimistic way to look at it. The last comment that sure that, like, yeah, I don't know that much about horses, but, like,
but yeah.
but if you can find a deal where the horse is getting where you guys both get to enjoy the horse, that's great.
Um, yeah, no, it is. Uh, I think that's all we really have to say on that one. I feel like it's an idea where it's like they just gotta get something out, and it's it's kind of a shitty situation. The parents and her are kind of enabling a bit with her anger issues,
Mhm.
but I don't know. They could be. I really like the idea of what I said. Like kind of like maybe a compromise, co-owner, and you get like work on your anger issues, and then we can really, because we both really love the horse. We can work on this together. You know?
Yeah, and work for Reina's, well-being.
Yeah. Um. And so I think we get on to our final story of the day.
We're gonna end with a bang here.
I hope it's a bang. It sounds interesting from the
Yeah,
title.
let's hear
Am I the asshole for punching my husband's sister?
it. Okay. Probably. but I'm not gonna
What
make
do
any
you think?
assumptions. Huh?
What do you think this could be?
Am I the asshole for punching my husband's sister? I mean, punching is usually, like, a overreaction, but assuming she must have done something really offensive or bad to deserve that. So let's hear it.
I, 32 female, have been married to my husband, 34 male, 34 male. Let's call him H for 6 years. We have a 3-year-old son together. Our relationship has always been strong and filled with trust. I have never had any problems with his family, and my family absolutely adores him. His sister, 28 female, and I have always gotten along great.
Okay,
Oh no.
so what's gonna go wrong here?
When I was pregnant with our first and only child, let's call him B, she started acting strange. She was always offering to help my husband with everything having to do with our son. But when it came to me, it was radio silence. I figured she didn't want to take the chance in upsetting me since my hormones were all over the place.
Hmm,
Once my son was born, she was an amazing aunt. She was always asking my husband to watch him and keep him overnight. To be honest, the break was nice sometimes. However, after my son turned 3, she started inviting my husband and son out to do things, but would only do it on a day that she knew I couldn't attend, or purposely only buy 3 tickets to things. There were several times where she said she wanted to have a brother and sister time.
I just
No,
yeah,
oh, no, no, this is no, no.
okay,
My
just
husband
let's just
started noticing that she never asking me to go out with them anymore. He brought it to my attention, but I brushed it off. A few months after this was going on, my husband brought it to my attention again. This time I told him that it was very hurtful for me. The next time his sister invited him somewhere, he told her that he would not be going if I was not invited. This is where she flipped in all caps. She started blowing up his phone and telling him that I do not need to be involved in everything and that they should be able to have sibling bonding time with her nephew included. He eventually blocked her to let her cool down as she would not stop blowing his phone up. I went ahead and did the same thing before she started with mine. About an hour later, she showed up at our front door with their parents. My son was laying down, so we stepped out in front with the baby monitor in hand so she didn't start screaming inside and wake him up. She started going on and on about how she has a priority over me.
what is going on?
Parentheses, I agreed as she is his immediate family, and that he would never love me like he loved her. What?
Wait, she said her husband will never love
Love
her like she loves
he
her
loves
s
his sister? What? Wh-
this is a really just strange
what?
thing, Raymond.
Wait, I have to read that again. I'm sorry. About how she's a priority over me. I agreed as she is his immediate family and that he would never love me like he loved her. Parentheses, I would hope not since he is his sister and not his wife. Oh, okay. Um,
Okay, it could be
and
yeah.
I didn't pay much mind to it until she said, to my best recollection, I am the mother that B will never have because you're here. I will love him more than you could, and I love H more than you ever could. The look on my husband's face was pure rage. I will admit, I feel like I shouldn't have done it, but in that moment, I saw red and punched her in the face. I heard her nose crack, and she started crying. His dad is completely on my side and says that it sounds like she has feelings for H. What? No, no. Oh my god. Oh my. Oh my. Oh my. Oh.
What did you choose?
I-
This is despicable.
This is despicable me, baby. My husband is also on my side. However, his mother says that she only meant it in an overprotective sister way, and that I was out of line. I am starting to feel guilty about it. It's been 2 weeks since we spoke to his sister or his mom. So, am I the asshole? And there's an edit. Husband has heard from um what's FIL? Is that female? That's
F
I think
FIL,
maybe
father-in-law?
father. Oh yeah, okay. Husband has heard from father-in-law. Sister-in-law doesn't think anything she said was wrong, but is not pressing charges. Her nose is fine. Nothing is broken. And oh my god! I was like, oh my god, oh my god,
That
oh
was
my god. What
a
is this
wild
story? What
and
is this?
crazy
She's in love with
scare.
her brother, right?
That's it seems like that was what was implied. I think, the fact that this all came from, like, because OP said that it used to be, like, a good relationship between all of them, and then all of a suddenly, like
As soon as she got pregnant,
yeah,
Well, I don't think you're the
but
asshole for punching her. She needs a fucking punch or like
no, I
instant
mean,
like
okay, I don't think she should have punched her.
she don't punch her, but you're not
Usually
the asshole for punching.
it's, like, not usually a good idea to punch somebody,
But you're not the
but
asshole for punching, but you don't need a punch.
yeah, I agree. I think
You're not
I
the
would say
asshole. The sister needs some
overall
help.
in this situation, you're not the asshole. That reaction, I can't support necessarily, but, she's super angry. It happens. Um,
I am the mother that B will never have because you're here. I will love him more than you could, and I love H more than you ever could.
yeah, I mean, there's nothing really you can do. I mean, she's just really I mean, I said this I'm gonna say this again. This sister really needs therapy, like,
Y-
really bad, because she's posing like an
But
actual,
it
like,
it gets to a point
threat
where
to this family.
it's like okay, you get into therapy, but it's like this will never get sucked out of the air ever again, Isaac.
No, it's just she's seems like the relationship between the sister and his families can never be good again. I
No,
mean, we'll
it's
see, but, like,
it might be a scenario where it could be just like no fucking contact for a long time, I guess.
at least temporarily, that seems like the only option,
And
at least temporarily, and while the sister gets therapy, and they can talk with the parents through the parents to hear how the sister's doing.
how does this just happen with like because like the brother just seems like he hasn't this hasn't occurred to him. But how does feelings because this so obvious feelings occur out of nowhere?
Yeah,
You
I
know,
don't know.
has she
It's
always
really
had
weird.
this? I guess has she always
Very
been in love with her brother?
that's why it seems like yeah, it's a
Um,
crazy story. You definitely
um,
should see somebody, I think.
not the asshole. Do not let that human near your child again. Both the mother-in-law and sister-in-law need to get back in their lane. Yeah, I'm glad that the father was out like, I think you're in love with your brother, but
Yeah, like, the father the father was, like, quick to come to that horrible realization about
oh,
his
she was like,
children.
yeah, he's like, I think you're in love with your brother. I am not in love with my brother. I am just the best mother he could ever have for B, and I will love H more than ever. I think you're in love with her, little girl. I think daughter. I think you're in love with your brother. Um, but
Yes.
Jesus Christ, man. Well, how can the mother say she only meant it in an overprotective manner?
What is there to be she's saying she doesn't trust the mother
And like,
of this
I'm gonna
child
be
to
honest.
take care of
I don't know if this is I don't know if this is a hot take or anything, Isaac, but I hope I love my wife more than I love my sister. I love my sister, but I hope I love my wife more. I'm I'm I don't know
yeah,
if that's a hot
or
take.
at least equal. Oh, that's, like, the whole point. It's like, you know, but
I
man, that is yeah. They need to cut ties with the sister, and then she
um
needs to get help, with a therapist.
not the asshole. Your sister-in-law wants to fuck her brother and their mom is in denial. You know what was the first like kind of indicator of like this is kind of weird thing? They need sister brother sibling bonding time. What?
Yeah, and then with the child for some reason, that's not a thing. Like,
Even
okay,
okay, maybe if you're a child, but as an adult, you need that as
no.
adults with
Okay,
your child.
maybe it's nice to do that, like, once, but you don't make it an official thing. You don't be
Yeah.
like, "Oh, sorry, you can't come with us. This is just, brother sister bonding time."
Yeah. I don't know.
But
It's like unless
at
we're
what point? Because as adults, what point would you be hanging out with your siblings where you're like, you're not gonna let your partner come with you?
yeah, because I'm thinking like this, like
Well, we would.
I would like I get like I hang out with my sister, but I don't go out to places literally with my sister. Like we go and like she goes to like the store. You want to come with me to the store? Okay, I'll go with you to the store if you're driving. I might get something. I'll watch like a TV show with you. I don't really. Maybe it's just like my own thing or my family, but it just seems weird to just hang out with your sibling specifically by yourself when you're an adult.
Yeah, like, going on out and with a kid is even
It's
weird.
like that makes it look
Y
like you're a fucking married couple.
Yeah, saying, bonding time for siblings and the kid, and then your wife can't come, like, making it, like, a point that your wife that's just
It just gets really
out of
weird at
pocket.
that point.
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy.
Um, yeah, you know what? I'm really weird that some this is a comment that kind of thinks I'm stuck on the fact that you agree that she is a priority over you. That's complete crap. Yeah, like what?
There's no way in which
In w-
your sister
in
is supposed to be, like, somebody closer to you than your wife,
yeah,
like, literally your, like, life partner.
I could
That's
never see a scenario where that's something that my potential wife or something I would say. I could never see that happening.
yeah, it's crazy.
Um, um, when someone gets married, their spouse and kids become their number one priority. Their immediate family steps down to second. I agree. I
Yeah.
agree.
Even if you don't say that part out loud, it's, like, kind of
I feel like
implied.
that's an unspoken rule, I guess.
Yeah, you're right. Oh, it's just natural. It's like the instinct. The average that's why something's a little off with a sister.
Yeah.
She needs to
Not
go through some help.
not the asshole and wow, your sister-in-law needs serious intervention. She has incestuous feelings towards her brother. You never leave your child alone with her.
Yeah, somebody, like, mentally kinda not safe to have around.
Yeah, I know. It's like I would never see her in the same light again. Even if she got like insane therapy, I would never let her alone with my child again. I'm gonna have to say.
Yeah, yeah, you couldn't blame that trust is not gonna be
Uh,
there.
yeah, but if we go back to like the original like idea, do you think? Yeah, you probably shouldn't have punched her,
It's yeah,
but
it's a
but you were not
it's
the
a
asshole in the
situation.
situation.
No, I agree. Like, nobody's gonna be, like, making a big deal about the fact that you punched your sister,
Yeah,
'cause, like, everything else going on is, like, way crazier than that part.
yeah, yeah. Um,
Sister-in-law.
wow, that was a crazy one.
That was really crazy. That you did end up with a bang, I have to
I
say.
I, I think that was a really fun one though. Sister needs professional help. Is there? Um, Um, someone says a comment, not the asshole. Story time. I have a cousin, 33 female, 33 male, in prison for attempted murder of his sister's husband. Poisoning. He was in love with his sister. Bad juju.
It's just a comment.
Yeah, that's just a comment.
It's awesome.
Uh, damn. I never think about the fact that you know there can still be a lot, I guess, of incestuous stuff in modern day. I never thought about that. I never think that that's kind of a thing that can still exist.
Yeah, I guess we associate it
Medieval
with, like,
ages or
the
something
Middle
like that.
Age, like, royal families and stuff.
But I guess
Well, 'cause it's usually a political thing then.
um, someone says, I've seen this before with my husband's sister. She was in love with him. We ended up having to get her out of our lives.
My gosh,
How
a
how does
terrible situation.
how does this happen? Like, is there like okay, is this a scenario where it's like, your brother becomes a really attractive person and then you're like, everyone else thinks my brother is hot. Do I think my brother is hot?
Yeah, I don't know the psychology behind it. You'd have to ask a doc like,
But there is one thing we know is that um the sister can never be alone with the child. She needs
Yeah,
professional help ASAP. The mother is in denial. Father, I'm glad he realizes this and he needs to help his daughter get help.
yeah.
Husband and OP and their child needs to no contact for at least a year
Oh,
or
yeah,
something like
or
that.
just keep contact with the parents so you can see how the sister's doing, but you definitely don't like, she should not be around that family. It so no yeah, not in the state to be around them.
And Jesus Christ. There doesn't really seem to be an edit or an update I can check, but I don't think so. And nope, that was only the only post. Who is the biggest asshole of the night as we wrap up?
Hmm,
I'll read to you the stories again.
me
Am I the asshole for punching my husband's sister, outing my younger sister to my older sister? Am I the asshole because my sister is refusing to eat, stealing my sister's horse, or choosing my stepsister over my bio sister? I'm gonna go with our first story of the day, where the
the
family was
eating
just
disorder.
attacking the girl for being too fat and then too skinny.
Yeah, I agree those are the most outright, like, ugh, bad. The last woman, though, the sister, she's just kinda like,
Psychotic, I
she
don't
just
know.
needs help, so it's, like, hard to say she's the ass, like,
They definitely
but
needs help.
she definitely that's a rough situation. But, yeah,
Um,
that first family is very cruel towards their daughter, it's very sad to see.
um, let us know your thoughts about this episode and your thoughts about the stories. Were we wrong or were we right? And And blah blah blah. Red Reader's Digest. Bye.
Thank you.